Hey, how you doing folks? Turbo here. Special little video, which is going to be a little bit of a showcase of sorts. So, as most of you know, because we've been waiting for an awfully long time, I'm finally using the Gigabyte RTX 3090. So I'm going to have some pictures and some video of that right here. I'm recording this after the fact, of course. So I kind of wanted to do a little video about some general gameplay results from this. Now, pretty much everything that I've played, having a 1440p monitor, everything I've played has been in 1440p. So I've been playing quite a few games on stream and off stream, maximum settings, 2K, absolutely no issues, unless it's like an early access game or something, you know, that's badly performing in general because of, like, you know, needing a big old patch, or again being early access and not very well optimized, or, you know, almost any Ubisoft game. So it's been phenomenal. Not gonna lie, it's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it needs to be for that price, but the speed of obviously rendering out videos on the GPU has been insane. The fact that I can stream lossless quality 1440p while gaming max settings 1440p is really something else. Very, very impressive. So I'm going to have some 4K footage here in the background. We'll start off with Doom again. Ultra nightmare settings on Doom, max to the maximum, everything as high as it'll go. And bearing in mind, this is also recording losslessly on the same system. Now, I won't beat about the bush, my CPU is a little bit on the older side. It's an i7 5820K, so this is quite a few generations ago now, but it does have a fair overclock of 4.5 GHz, but it's definitely going to bottleneck the GPU somewhat. But the GPU is just performing incredibly, especially, of course, at 4K, because when you're playing at 4K, a lot more is going to be shifted over to the GPU side of things than the CPU, but for any games with a lot of physics and textures and stuff that are going on, I could really do with an upgrade, which will be the next thing on my list. Also here, for no particular reason, because you're still work in progress, Scum. Now, Scum will also run in 4K, maximum everything, and again, recording in 4K, as well as playing 4K. So technically, I'm doing 8K stuff right now, if you think about it carefully, because I'm recording lossless 4K, as well as playing it in 4K. That's phenomenal. Like, not needing to have a secondary PC with a capture card, although that would be beneficial maybe one day for that kind of thing. For any 4K gameplay, it would be good to have just a cheap and cheerful system with a 4K capture card that's capable of capturing it. That would be pretty good, but it's not really necessary right now, especially when I'm capturing on the same system, you know, with a good degree of success. Only Watchdogs at the moment, the new Watchdogs game, is incredibly difficult to run, let alone record. So I've also got here some Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order right here. Now, I really want to do a full-on playthrough of this because I love Star Wars, and so far just playing through this game to capture some footage, because I still haven't played the full game, it looks incredible, and the storyline seems to be really good as well. So I really want to do like a full stream, like a full playthrough of that, or maybe a full playthrough recording, either or. But yeah, I'm really excited for this, and again, just another game that looks absolutely phenomenal, all maxed out, 4K, lossless 4K video, uploaded to YouTube in 4K for you to have beamed straight into your eyeballs and just enjoy that sweet, sweet quality. Also, speaking of the CPU a minute ago, I did also upgrade my cooler. Now, I do eventually want to get full custom water cooling again, because that's what I like to do, but money at the time wasn't fantastic when I was building this PC a few years back, so I just used an all-in-one cooler, and it was showing its age after about 5 years. So I got a new one. It's a Silverstone 360 rad, and that's been keeping my temperatures incredibly good. So again, overclocked 4.5 gigahertz, 1.3 volts on the CPU, so it can get quite toasty on air. But with a cooler, I'm not seeing over 67 degrees. That's the highest I've seen it go. 67 degrees. And this is, you know, with streaming, playing a game, you know, playing a game and recording, and the results are just fantastic. This is probably one of the best all-in-one coolers I've ever used. So, little shout out to Silverstone there. Good shit. I really like this. And speaking of temperatures, even with games and benchmarks running constantly for minutes, hours, the GPU hasn't gone over 67 degrees either. and that's got a hefty overclock on it as well. Decent. The GPU already comes pre-overclocked because it's the Gigabyte overclocked card, and although I don't particularly like the design, clearly having extra fan stuff is definitely helping keep it cool, because again, 67 degrees when it's been maxed out, overclocked, and then overclocked again by myself. The results are phenomenal. These are really good cards, the 30 series. And so here is some Watchdogs as well. I think you can see the frame rate counter there down at the bottom. And again, Watchdogs is performing pretty badly across everybody's hardware. The really fascinating DLSS technology from NVIDIA, which is like a fancy upscaling that's not really upscaling because it's using an AI algorithm to bring the quality back up, and in some cases it's indistinguishable. So it's not upscaling, but upscaling is a very, very easy way to explain how it actually works. If you're interested in that tech, do look it up. It's just fascinating to watch and to see sometimes the quote-unquote upscaled 4K looks better than the native. Like, how does that work? That's just impressive. But in Watchdogs, it doesn't seem to be making any difference, so I don't know whether they've not implemented that very well, or if I'm just being held back by my CPU. Could be a few things, but if you just Google performance issues on that game, just everyone's having a right nightmare running it. I even decided here to have a little play around with ray tracing. Now, a lot of people thought ray tracing was overhyped, but as an absolute gaming and technology nerd, I think the technology is fascinating when it works in a game a bit more optimized than Watchdogs. But I did it anyway, and you can see the difference between having like this fake reflection, a bit of a horrible blurry mess. I tried to sort of kind of benchmark this by walking the same way twice, but one time with ray tracing on. So even though the DLSS technology doesn't seem to be working, at least in this particular pre-patch build, the ray tracing when it's when the game is running at a nice 60 FPS rather than how it is now, it does look absolutely phenomenal. So I can't wait to see more be done with this in a better game. Now, my absolute favorite, Red Dead Redemption 2, 4K, max settings, being recorded lossless 4K on the same system, and it's well over 60 FPS. Well over 60 FPS, which it wants to be. Obviously, if I'm not recording, I'm averaging at like 150 FPS on this GPU, and it's just staggering, absolutely staggering. I mean, I love technology, but to be that level of staggered, it's great. It's like being a kid at Christmas. It's just a phenomenal leap forward, the 30 series, and especially the 3090. Now, you don't technically really need a 3090 to be doing gaming, but of course I'm doing streaming, I'm doing recording, I'm doing video rendering, amongst other stuff, so it is nice to have that extra horsepower there, and it's an investment for the future as well, because obviously it's going to have a good resale value later on when upgrading is needed, and it's probably not going to need upgrading for quite some time. 24 gigs of RAM in there, that's a lot of RAM. So I'm probably not going to need to upgrade for maybe 5+ years, hopefully. That would be nice. We've got a benchmark here, superposition the benchmark, so I've got a recording of this. I know it's recording the screen and that's frowned upon, but just to show the sheer performance without recording anything on the same system, I got that little clip there. And again, that's just max settings 4K, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Very nice benchmark to watch, actually, that, by the way. And last but certainly not least, everyone's favourite benchmarking video game, Microsoft Flight Sim. Now, I am definitely 100% certain that I am being held back by my CPU here. Even with that nice overclock, 4.5 gigahertz, way beyond the 3.3 gigahertz normal speed. Yeah, we're not doing great performance. It's over 30 FPS, 4K max settings, but you're kind of wanting more. You're left wanting more, but it's such an incredibly complex game to run that it's not at all surprising. I've not seen the stats of like the really latest CPUs with the 3090, but yeah, I think unless you tweak a few things here and there, you're looking at 30 FPS at least on older hardware being mixed with this GPU. But I'm definitely bottlenecking it. But what can you do? I can't afford to upgrade just yet. But yeah, the Red Dead Redemption stuff is definitely my favourite. Such a pretty game, so much attention to detail, and yeah, being able to game it at 4K native. You know, no upscaling, no nothing. It's just absolutely mind-blowing to watch. So guys, in the interest of time, the final thing I'm going to say, while leaving you with some more beautiful 4K footage from Red Dead Redemption, since it's my absolute favourite to watch back. The last thing I want to say is thank you to all you guys. Now, obviously, I spent a fair chunk of my own change on getting this GPU, but also your guys' support from super chats and donations and being members on the channel and that stuff. All that support has also helped me be able to save up to get this GPU and, you know, continue to upgrade my system and therefore upgrade my content so I can put out things quicker, do things in more quality. So I can't thank you guys enough for that support, and your continued support will keep this going. We'll keep upgrading the system and then doing more stuff because I'll be able to do more. So yeah, again, thank you very much, and I'm just going to leave you now with the beautiful stuff from Red Dead Redemption 2. Guys, thank you very much for watching.